features you won't find anywhere else. Our family-friendly atmosphere and amenities ensure your comfort and enjoyment. With extra attractions the whole family can enjoy. Kiss World Mini Golf. Inside the Rio, 3700 Flamingo in Valley View. Visit kissminigolf.com. At the Human Bean, our mission is to serve up specialty coffee and smiles with a bean on top. With a bean on top is more than just a delicious chocolate-covered espresso bean. It's our way of saying thank you and of seeking to make your day, one drink at a time. Have you had a bean on top moment today? The Human Bean, with 2 Las Vegas locations, 5602 West Charleston and Lindell, and 5265 Camino El Norte in Washburn. Get ready, football fans. The Los Angeles Rams are back, and they're hungrier than ever in the City of Angels, where stars shine bright. A new chapter unfolds on the gridiron. Buckle up, because the Rams are about to electrify the NFL. All Los Angeles Rams games can be heard right here on KSHP, AM 1400 and 107.1 FM. Los Angeles Rams football, sponsored by Steiner's Pub, a true Nevada-style pub.
The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the program's participants and do not necessarily reflect those of station staff, management, and advertisers.
What's going on, everybody? A very happy Friday. Thank you so much for joining us. We've made it through the week. Yes, a very busy news week. A lot of stuff going on. We're going to continue the coverage of the Epstein saga. Now Mike Johnson has a different tune. Oh, I've been trying to release these files for a very, very long time. Yeah, okay, buddy. We'll talk a little bit about that. I am very happy to announce that this Timcast live show was just officially released, which means I'm going to be playing a lot of clips from the show today. We'll take your phone calls on it, too, and your thoughts on it. Me and Myron Gaines have been going toe-to-toe on social media over the course of the last 24 hours. He made a really intelligent claim. He said that I never played a sport in my life. Played 2 college sports, Division I college sports. I was on scholarship. I played 5 sports in high school, all at the varsity level. So obviously he doesn't know what he's talking about. But anyway, we'll get to that a little bit later. That's not the most important topic that we are going to discuss today. Also coming up here any moment now, we are going to be speaking with Lev Parnas. Now, I love Lev. Spent some time with Lev. He came out to Las Vegas. This was maybe what? I don't know, 8 or 9 months ago, something like that. Got a chance to know Lev personally. I think he's a really good dude. So he's going to be joining us here in a few minutes. And I guess my questions to Lev is pretty simple, which is, you know, did you spend a lot of time with Donald Trump alone? You spent a lot of time with Trump and Rudy Giuliani, private settings. Did they ever bring up Jeffrey Epstein? That's a question that I certainly want to ask him. And some plenty other questions to get to as well. Obviously, as the days, the hours pass, and it appears as though the files will have a vote, and it also appears as though, hopefully, these victims will be getting, hopefully, in my personal opinion, the justice that they deserve. But before we get to any of that stuff, and before I play my appearance in the Timcast in Washington, D.C., which we will get to, it is my pleasure to introduce to you someone who's done this show before. I had the opportunity to get to know him a little bit in Las Vegas, and very happy to have Lev Parnas back on the program. Lev, it's great to see you again. I appreciate you coming back on. How are you?
Man, I'm doing great. Great to see you, Brian, man. It's been a while, man. You're looking good.
How are you holding up? How have you been doing? I know it's obviously over the course of the last year or two, it's been not the easiest of times for you and your family, especially after Donald Trump won re-election. How are you holding up, you and your family?
You know, it's been tough, and especially the first several months were surreal. You know, actually just realizing what actually just happened and what lies ahead of us. But you know, we've been fighting. My son Aaron, those of you that know, has been on the front line, killing it out there, reporting. And I've also, thanks to his advice, joined Substack and started basically uncovering and breaking all of their stuff, and we've joined a fight to make sure we save our democracy, because everything, remember, just right before the election when we were in Vegas, we were speaking about, if you remember, everything we spoke about, you're seeing play out in front of your eyes. I told you he would go these extremes. I told you he'd have a revenge tour. I told you he would try to stay in office forever. And I don't want to be I told you so, but it's time that the Democratic leadership, which we really don't have right now, but people start standing up and understanding how to deal with the monster that we have.
I agree, Lev. Just about everything you told me has come to fruition. The only thing that you told me that you believed would happen that didn't happen was Kamala winning. I wish you were right about that. You've pretty much been right about everything else, unfortunately. And I do want to talk about your Substack, your book, of course. I want to ask you this question. All the private time, for lack of a better term, that you've had with Donald Trump,
Yep.
Rudy Giuliani, did they ever bring up Jeffrey Epstein? Was that ever a topic of discussion that you heard them talk about, or underage women? Like, did you ever hear them talk about that stuff?
Not underage women, but young women definitely. I mean, but Epstein, no. You gotta understand. At that time, I was out in Ukraine, and that was the same time where I separated and went to Ukraine. If I would have heard something, believe me, I would have been breaking this all over the place.
Right, of course.
But look, you gotta understand one thing. I grew up in that era. For those of you that watch my documentary, understand that I grew up around people like that in New York, and even though I might have not personally been associated with Epstein, but I know the mentality. I know the what the '80s, the '70s, the '90s were, and there's a reason why Donald Trump had these beauty pageants. Why there's a reason why there was competitions back then. To have younger girls, they would be divorcing their wives and marrying younger girls. There was with these themes. It was kind of like a crazy time, where these guys, rich, powerful men, would be preying on young women, and we saw it with the Me Too movement, and that was just the tip of the iceberg. We saw, like even with P Diddy, but those maybe some older, but when it comes to younger girls, I mean, Donald Trump has said it personally himself so many times, from the Howard Stern show to making comments all over the place. You hear it with his own. It's not, and the important part is the timing. A lot of people look at Donald Trump right now as an 80-year-old man, president of the United States, and say, he got. That was not the same Donald Trump 40 years ago. 40 years ago, take a look what Donald Trump was, and it was a different beast, different animal. And in all honesty, he hasn't changed much now. I mean, I remember me and you. I don't know if I told you the story about when we were somewhere where he made that comment about a donor coming up. She had big breasts, and he was talking about they would always make Rudy would always make jokes about
Right.
women. He would love, one of the things I remember him telling me is whenever people would come into the Trump hotel, we would be sitting there. They'd want to take pictures with them. So the women would run up to take a picture with Rudy, and Rudy, when after he had a few drinks already, would love to take every drink he had. His hand would go lower and lower with the picture. So he would use that as a way of like Trump made that comment, when you're powerful and rich, you could grab him, do whatever you
Right.
want. And sometimes some of them would make a comment like "whoa," and some of them would just, you see the face results. But yeah, that's the mentality in that group.
So when you say young girls, I mean, obviously there's a difference between someone, maybe a woman in her early 20s, and somebody that's 15 years old. I personally believe, Lev, that Donald Trump did inappropriate things with underage women. That's my personal opinion on that. What are your thoughts on that? When you say young girls, we know that he's a pig. We know that Rudy Giuliani's a pig. We know that the infidelities and the constant cheating, and he does like younger women. I think everybody knows that. But do you think it was to the point where it was illegal? Because we know with the Epstein emails that just came out, he was hanging out with an alleged victim for 2 hours at his home. And those emails just prove, I think, what a lot of us already know. I think there was more than just improprieties. I think he was breaking the law. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I wasn't there. I didn't hold the candle. But if you're asking me my opinion and my thoughts, I definitely think Donald Trump was definitely more guilty and involved in a lot of bad things, and this is why he's holding it back. Because look, remember Katie Johnson. I always say, remember Katie Johnson, remember her name, 13-year-old girl. She came out. Donald Trump never sued her, never went after her. She explicitly told the story about these parties, of how she came there, how she met Donald Trump, how he, sexually assaulted her. Remember, look at Jean Carroll, she found guilty. So, and look at all the other, how many cases came out against him that got, basically, dismissed or thrown out because of his money and his power. So Donald Trump has a history of that. It's not, we can't excuse it. And especially with these emails, just think about it. You're 100% right. This is an email, you have to understand, between two criminals, two pedophiles, Maxwell and Epstein, talking between themselves. What they're upset and can't understand why the third one, Donald Trump, who was in that room with them, was not basically looked upon or talked about, because he's the dog that's not barking, meaning, maybe he's the one behind the scenes actually ratting them out, like Michael Wolff was talking about. He was thought Epstein was, that Trump was, talking, saving his own butt, but saving it.
I think it does mean something, right? When you have Jeffrey Epstein, who has said in an email that he believed that Donald Trump was one of the worst human beings alive. I mean, that's really saying something. I mean, when Jeffrey Epstein says that, right, Lev?
Just think about that. Yeah, I mean, but again, I don't know why people are surprised. If they take a look at Donald Trump's history, I mean, his whole history, he's abused, he's insulted, he's lied to, he's stolen, and that is who Donald Trump is. I mean, tell me what good Donald Trump did. Look who his mentor was, Roy Cohen. I mean, he was the leader of the mafia. I mean, the guy. So it's like, it's not that Donald Trump did anything good. Donald Trump was like that Jerry Springer, controversial politician that basically, at the right time, right place, dipped into a group of people and gave him a voice. That 30% of America that didn't vote, that didn't come out to vote, that far right, that was why that white supremacy, that Christian nationality, that America First movement. I remember I was there. I was part of building MAGA and watching us tap into it. And then once he was able to take care over that 30%, slowly he took over the GOP and the Republican Party, which doesn't exist anymore. So.
Yeah. And I remember, Lev, when you testified, it still rings true to this day when you told Matt Gaetz he can't handle the truth. I actually feel like that rings true to almost everything that's going on right now. They don't want Jack Smith to testify under oath. I certainly don't think they wanted you to testify under oath either. And maybe they didn't expect what was going to happen because you were actually honest. But I don't think they want Jack Smith to testify. They certainly don't want the Epstein files to be released. And they're doing everything, and they have been doing everything they can to not allow that to happen. But I actually think eventually it's going to happen. I think they're going to find a way to make it happen. Now, I just think there's a lot of pressure.
Well, see, and I have a interesting thought about that, an opinion, because I have a lot of sources and stuff that I speak to, and I'm the one that actually broke the story about them putting pressure on Bobart and Mason,
Yes.
and they're also actually right now putting pressure. Now he's already calling senators. Also, I'm hearing that this whole week there's going to be a major push on Mace because they feel she's mentally not stable enough to withhold, to be able to take her name off. There's a pressure going on now, second level, to senators. And one of my sources told me they heard him flat out say that if it reaches his desk, they're never going to see the light of day. And that's the whole thing. Like what we're seeing right now, these are from the Epstein family, what's it called? Trust, I think. These are this is not the actual criminal stuff that the DOJ has. But the other interesting thing, I want everybody to know this, because I always tell my subscribers and my viewers, don't pay attention to what they say, look at the actions, and also look, what's not being said. The one thing that's very important is the timing. If you take a look in 2018, right, there was emails going back to with Wolff and Epstein about how Trump was going to get asked questions, and that he could, and Wolff was counseling basically Epstein how he could have dirt on the president, that he could have all this stuff. Well, just think about what happened literally 6-7 months later. He gets arrested and he disappears.
Yeah. Now, you're right. I want to ask you more about this because, yes, you are one of the people that broke the story about Boebert and Mace behind closed doors getting strong-armed by the president. So I wanted to ask you about that because a lot of people have been talking about that. It's my understanding that they already signed off on wanting to release the Epstein files. So what is Trump trying to do? Explain to me, what was the meaning? I mean, obviously he's putting pressure on them. We know that, and probably threatening them. But if they already signed off on it, I thought they weren't allowed to retract. Help me understand that.
Well, they can. They have the because the actual they signed off on it for their. So what happens now? Now there's a vote. So now they're going to, in next week, they're going to vote for it to happen. So he was putting pressure on them not to vote for it because signing was just allowing it for it to hit the floor for there to vote. Now all of the same Republicans we have to hold strong that these 4 Republicans now vote next week on it for it to actually go to the Senate.
Okay.
So this week is going to, and that's what I wrote in my Substack is right now they're putting pressure on Mace. Boebert's stood strong. Marjorie Taylor Greene, he's having major issues with, but Mace is the one that they're targeting this week to try to have her basically vote nay next week to stop it in the House. The reason why she's still a wild card is because obviously of her past, that that what she went through, speaking with the survivors, it's a very touchy situation. That's why Plan B right now, they're already hitting. Trump is already speaking to senators. He's already, spoke to Lindsey Graham and others that are, they're formulating a plan to make it stop there.
Wow. We'll have to wait and see how this plays out. I was unaware of that. So just to correct me if I'm wrong. So what you're saying is they can retract. They can change signing off. I was unaware of that.
Not signing off, because signing off, all that happened is now it's going to go to the floor for a vote.
Gotcha.
Now they have to vote to pass it. So now we need 218 votes to pass it to go through, which you would assume, because if you signed off on it, you would assume they would vote. But what I'm hearing is this week is going to be a major pressure campaign to try to get for them to stop it in the House before it even gets to the Senate.
Yeah, what's amazing to me, Lev, is, as you know, all these MAGA Republicans, they talk about America first, and then you have Donald Trump in an interview basically saying that we don't have enough talented people in the United States. Let's bring over 600,000 people from China. I know there's a lot of MAGA Republicans that are very upset about that. It doesn't seem like America first when he's bailing out economies of other countries, the biggest tax breaks for the top 1%. He's inviting people to the Oval Office that were once Al-Qaeda members. There's a lot of people in the MAGA world. Some are being silent still, but a lot of people in MAGA that are like, wait a second, I didn't vote for this. I find it interesting.
Oh, well, yeah, Mega's totally messed up. Mega's divided. He cracked Mega. The Epstein files completely destroyed it. You have so many different, from the Israel issue to the Mega file to his attacks on Iran to what he's doing with the war that's going on in Russia and Ukraine, to the Charlie Kirk assassination. All of this, I mean, they're all divided. They're at each other's throat. So the loyalists like Laura Loomer and others that are in there. But then you got, Tucker Carlson has already broken apart. Bannon is literally walking around talking about that we're going to go to jail, folks, if this doesn't. I mean, he's literally telling them if we lose 2026, we're going to prison. They are all in disarray. And that is why it's important right now is to make sure that we keep the pressure on. And I tell all my subscribers, I hope all of you that are listening out there, that this is the time that we need to put, keep stronger, keep louder, make our voices heard, put pressure, especially on, because remember, there's over 200 Republican congressmen and congressmen and women. We only usually talk about 5-10 of them, but there's 200 of them. We need to put pressure, constituents in every one of them, because the races are going to be tight. Donald Trump, his what's it called? Polls are saying, I mean, they all understand what's going to happen. They understand that they need to either steal this somehow, otherwise they're going to lose it, and it's going to be a tsunami. So absolutely. I'm sorry, go ahead, bro.
A couple more quick questions for you, Lev. And Lev Parnas joining us, and I appreciate your time. There's a lot of reasons why I have a lot of respect for you. One of those reasons is, listen, you were the guy hired, as everybody knows, to dig dirt on the Bidens. And since then, you've done your time. You've admitted what you did. You've been extremely honest and open. And you've developed, I don't think people realize this, a friendship with Hunter Biden, which and the documentary that was put out, I thought was fantastic. Can you talk about that? I don't know how often these days you still talk to Hunter Biden, but you guys have developed a friendship since then, which I think is incredible. And I think it speaks to your character and his character.
I actually spoke to Hunter a few days ago. We speak often, and we're actually working on maybe doing a podcast, definitely breaking
Wow.
interviews, maybe on my Substack. We're
I would
discussing.
listen to that podcast. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Well, one of the things actually what we're talking about and what I want to do is, as part of my movement that I put into place right now, is basically due to Don Jr. and Eric and the Trump family, to what we did to the Bidens, because I was the orchestrator of that. And but the difference was with the Bidens, we used Russian misinformation to be able to push to discredit and make them here. We have all of these facts and all of these proof of all of this corruption that's going on. The problem, it's not being spoken about because the news cycle, there's only so much news, and there's not enough people out there, even on social media. That just think about when we broke the story about the Biden stuff. When I was on the other side, we had every top influencer constantly talking about every day. Every day was a unite until eventually the news had to cover it, and it just until it. Well, that's what the united front that I'm trying to put together on the left. So once we start going after that we have every influencer. Yes, each person, let them do their thing, but we have to start joining in the message and making sure that we spread the message, a united message, far and wide, constantly, so all of the country sees it.
I'm in. I'll help you guys any way I can, if I can. I love the fact that you're teaming up with Hunter. I think that's great. Before I let you go, Lev, I have your book in my office, which you so nicely, graciously gave me, and it's a great read. I would like you to talk a little bit more about your book, which is so great. Obviously, your Substack, which is very popular, and I think you're a great writer, too, and you do a wonderful job there. Give us the information how people can sign up for your Substack, get your book, and get more involved with what you're doing.
I appreciate it, Brian. Thank you so much. So definitely recommend you go to my Substack. It's at Lev Remembers on Substack. It's a home, that's a base that I've built, basically, where I break all the news. It's an incredible platform. It's a community that we've turned into a movement and has become the resistance. So definitely join us there. And the book, I recommend it not only because, like you said, I also believe it's a great read because of just knowing that it's a true story, that of what happened with the president, but the fact that it's a lot of the players that we hear and talk about today, like Vladimir Zelensky and all of these were the people that I was sent to Ukraine to put pressure on. A lot of the players that are in his administration, these are the people that I spent a lot of time with intimately, and so this book is kind of like a blueprint. If you really want to understand why Trump, why some of these people, why MAGA, why certain things are happening, you definitely want to read the book because it gives you a blueprint. And you could get it at levremembers.com. It's my website. Also gives you information about where I'm touring, where I'm going. But we're going to start going out there. One of the things I'm going to be doing, and I'm going to be inviting you, Brian. I'm glad I'm going to be challenging people like Alex Jones, Benny Johnson, and all of them to debates. I know you've done some great work on Piers Morgan. I want you to come join me on my team as we do certain stuff around the country, and not just on CNN, or I want to do it on their terms, Fox, on their channels. I want their people to see how we kick their butt.
I would love to. I would love to see you do that with Tim Pool. I just did his show. Yeah.
They all, the problem is they all run from me. So that's why right now I'm putting together a movement where they can't run, because if they run, I'm just going to go buy airtime on right-wing media and blow them up. So
I love it. I love it.
This next year, we're gonna do what we can to make sure we expose all of their stuff. So
I love it.
What I'm doing is a little different than everybody else, but it's our little niche. I'm going to give them a little taste of their own medicine.
I love it. That's why they're afraid of you. You got the goods, my friend. Lev, so much respect for you. Regards to you and your family. Keep up the great work. Keep fighting, my friend. We need more people like you, and we will catch up with you soon, Lev. Have a great weekend, okay?
Thank you, guys. Have a great weekend. Take care.
Appreciate that. There you go, Lev. Lev Parnas, everybody. Tons of respect for him. He made his mistakes. He paid for his mistakes, and he has paid 20-fold for the mistakes that he made, and he is on the right side of history now. He's a good father. He's a good man. I have, like I've said, 10 times in this interview, I have a lot of respect for him in getting to know him. All right. Get his book, by the way. It's a really good read. And I don't read a lot of books. It's a good read. Here's what we are going to do. This is going to be a lot of fun when we get back. Okay. I promise you're going to have a lot of fun with this. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. So I was part of the Culture War podcast live studio audience in DC last weekend. And I got into it with Myron Gaines. We had a We got into it. Let's just put it that way. I don't want to ruin anything, but the audio that I'm about to play for you when we come back is very entertaining, to say the least. And then you guys can make your own decisions on how you think I did. And we'll take some phone calls coming back as well. So we'll take a quick break. When we come back, highlights from the Live Culture War podcast in D.C. that I did last week with Myron Gaines. It's all over social media now, going viral. We're going to play some clips from that show coming up next. You're listening to Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP.
Hey, everybody. Are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premier Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super. Hero, that is. Because why be a sub when you can be a hero? Stallone's Italian Eatery is here to serve you phenomenal food, Vegas. Forget about it.
Who would have thought there'd be so many kids playing ice hockey in the desert? Jake Helb's Hockey Foundation and the Las Vegas Ice Warriors, founded by Gina Yousafzai 8 years ago, made it possible for families who can't afford the equipment and fees. Donate today at www.hockeyforkids.org and help us continue making a difference. Join us in supporting Jake Helb's Hockey Foundation.
All right, welcome back. It is Pushing the Limits on a Friday. Really a pleasure to have Lev Parnas on the show. I just think Lev is awesome, and he's a friend of the show. He's a friend of mine, and he's a good man, and certainly he will be back on the show very soon. I love that idea of him doing a podcast with Hunter Biden. I didn't know he was looking to do that, and I actually think that's a really great idea. All right, so for those of you that are unaware, I did Tim Pool's podcast in person a month ago. I went to his studio, home in West Virginia. They enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. They treated me good. So then they invited me to do a live studio show in a comedy club with Alex Stein, Myron Gaines, and a few other women that I'll talk about here in a little bit. Now, I did it last weekend, but they aired it today, and some of the videos are going viral on social media for all sorts of different reasons. We talked about everything from prostitution to trafficking to OnlyFans to Donald Trump to dating. I mean, we covered it all. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, and some of you might not like what I am about to say, and that's fine. That doesn't stop me. I think Tim Pool is a decent guy because of the way he's treated me. I think Alex Stein is a decent guy because of the way he treated me. I do not believe Myron Gaines is a good person. I think he's a phony and a two-faced. I will continue to have that opinion about Myron. I think he's completely phony. Now, with that being said, we all shake hands. We get up there on a stage. It's a comedy club. There's a couple hundred people there in small quarters. And the debate started, and I knew right from the beginning I'm the only person up there that is very anti-Donald Trump. So I was ready to go. I had my caffeine. I had my Red Bull, and I was ready to go. I didn't care what they said to me. I knew I would be called slurs, Jewish slurs, homophobic slurs, because that's what Myron Gaines does. Tim doesn't do that. Myron does that. So I was ready to go. So right at the beginning of the show, we're like 60 seconds into the show. Alex Stein gives me a cheap shot. And this is the only time he insulted me the entire show. And then I think maybe he just stayed away from me. But right off the bat, Alex Stein tries to, poke the bear a little bit. It didn't go well for him. Here's how it went.
You guys know me. I'm Primetime 99, Pimp on a Blimp. And today I'm going to bring the pain. So, Brian, I hope you brought your tampon.
I'm ready.
Because I'm going to make
I'm ready. The tampon that Trump was wearing on his ear, is that what you're talking about?
Oh, boy.
Woo. The man was shot, Brian.
Was he?
Have you no respect? Yes,
was he?
Was. So is that a conspiracy?
Was he shot?
Well, I think so, yeah.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
He got a boo-boo on his ear.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, my God. 10 seconds in, dude.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, 10 seconds in. By the way, that was the only moment in 2 hours that Alex Stein tried to insult me. He stayed away from me the rest of the show. By the way, smart guy. And that's how it went with Alex Stein. I actually thought Alex would give it to me a little bit more. That was it. First minute of the show, he stayed away from me the rest of the show. He was actually very respectful to me the rest of the show. Then Myron enters the field. Now, if you don't know who Myron Gaines is, as I said, he's the male version of Candace Owens, okay? He is somebody who I believe is not a good person. Not even because of the stuff he says necessarily. I'm not even sure Myron is a racist or an anti-Semite. He just says horrible things, and he doesn't believe the things he says. Now, how do I know this? I know at least 5 people that are very close to Myron, that are in his inner circle, that have all told me the same thing about Myron. Now, obviously, I'm not going to mention their names publicly because I don't want to out them, because they have some sort of relationship with Myron. But they've all told me the same thing, that Myron has told them he only says things to get people angry and to get clicks. Now, there's nothing wrong with people wanting to get clicks. There's something wrong with people that spread hate and bigotry and incite violence to get clicks. That's exactly what Myron does. So, Myron, in this clip, addressed me first and insulted me first. And that's when I was ready to go, because I know some personal stuff about Myron that some people don't know. Myron called me a slur, and that is when I just went all out and said some things to him that I think people in person needed to finally say to him. It is a very explosive clip here. It's got 350,000 views just on my page alone, because I clipped this the other day. This is me and Myron going at it, where Myron Gaines is trying to make the case that women are second-class citizens. It's just absolutely atrocious and ridiculous. Have a listen to this.
And this is precisely why we need to make women second-class citizens again.
Because here we go.
This is like, of course, we got a Jew promoting porn, right? We got a Jew promoting porn. There's nothing. What's wrong with porn? We got a dumb bimbo talking about, well, I do porn, but I don't want guys to watch it because it's cheating. Meanwhile, I'm showing my to other guys while being in a relationship. Like, nothing here makes sense. And this is the problem when you put women in positions of power where they have authority. I guarantee you she her boyfriend. She probably makes more money than him.
I guarantee you do the same thing with your boyfriend, Myron.
Let me finish what I'm saying.
Why don't you come out of the closet?
Let me finish what I'm saying, Drill Spinner.
Yeah,
so,
okay.
Anyway, on top of that, so she probably runs the relationship, sees the authority, she's the leader, because she probably makes more money than him. And this is a glowing example, guys, of what happens when your woman is the leader in a relationship. She could go on stage and literally embarrass you by not making any type of sense, but she dictates the terms because she's the one that has the power and authority over him, probably from the money that she earns, her status, being on the internet, etc.
He's
Men
more
lead,
successful than
women
I am,
follow.
so no.
What does he do? Do you want to say it?
Yeah, he's a professor, author of 3 books. He commentates. He's been on like Joe Rogan. He works on BBC.
Translation.
And that's side quest. That's all as a side quest. He's a very successful author, professor, public philosopher.
So I was just called a Jew. So I just wanted to respond to that real quickly, if I may. There are two different types of people. There are anti-Semitic people, and then there are people like Myron. I don't believe Myron is anti-Semitic. I don't believe Myron is racist. I don't believe. Let me finish, okay? Let me finish, okay? Nothing that Myron says, I believe he actually believes. He only says things to piss people off, get clicks, and make money. Myron, you are a phony. I talked to George Santos the other day. He wants to grab your hand to take you out of the closet. Let's ask your girlfriend who just broke up with you what she thinks about you calling women second-class citizens. I guarantee you there are women in this audience that would beat your right now. You're a Myron, that's what you are. You're a big everything you say is fake. You can laugh all you want. All you care about is money.
Yeah.
That's all you care about. Everything you say is phony. Everything.
This is why I asked the left side to sit on the left side, because I was like, I don't want anyone getting hit.
Nothing. You've admitted it to some of your friends. You only say things to get clicks and make money, which makes you a. Nothing you say is genuine. There you go. So Myron, while I'm doing this, you should look at the face of Myron. Like, he's almost like surprised. He's just sitting there with this like weird smirk on his face, nervous, weird. There's really nothing he can say to retort that. And he really didn't, because it's true. Full disclosure. I don't like people that take an entire group of people and generalize them. For example, like I'll even talk about Trump here for a minute. And anybody who listens to the show know this. I'm very frustrated at everybody who voted for Trump, but never have I said every single person who voted for Trump is a racist. Never said that. But I have said that every racist voted for Trump. But there's a difference, right? I never have generalized an entire group of people and said they are blah, 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 blah. I don't do that. I don't do that with religion. I don't do that with race, because I'm not a misogynist. I'm not a bigot. Myron is. And this went on. And Myron, for the most part, stayed away from me for most of the show. But I kept giving it back to him. And yes, I did have a conversation with George Santos off the air, and George told me to say that. He said, tell Myron I will grab his hand to help him come out of the closet. There's nothing wrong with being gay. I want to be very clear on that. I am pro-LGBTQ community. Anybody who knows that about me, and I tweeted this out yesterday, and I think this tweet has like 200,000 or 300,000 views. I said, I am pro-LGBTQ community. I am not mocking you because you are gay. In fact, anybody who knows me knows it is the opposite of that. The reason why I am saying this about Myron is because I believe he is a self-loathing homosexual. What do I mean by that? He attacks people for being gay because he's a bigot. I personally believe Myron is gay himself. I found some pictures that I posted. They are not AI pictures, and they are pictures of Myron cuddling with a naked man in a bed. They are real. Myron did not say they were fake. In fact, he confirmed that they were real when he tweeted back at me. These are pictures of Myron with a man. Now, his excuse for it, and by the way, I don't see anything wrong with this behavior. That's not what I'm getting at here. I see something wrong, again, with him going after people because they're gay when I believe he's gay himself. His response to it was, oh, you've never played in a sport before. This is camaraderie. These were my teammates. I played 5 high school sports at the varsity level. I played 2 Division I college sports, and I was pretty good at them. I never cuddled with a naked man in a bed. Now, if that's what you like to do, that's fine. I have no problem with it. It's not what I do because I'm a straight man. And any reasonable human being that is not Team Bigot Myron would tell you, if you're cuddling with a naked man and caressing them in a bed, that probably means you're attracted to men. Hence, Myron, who is a phony. Now, this was another point in the show where I called out Myron once again, and I called him a piece of human scum. And the reason why I said that is because what Myron does is he takes an entire group of people. They could be black people, they could be Jewish people, and he makes gross assumptions about them. So this went on because Myron wanted, I guess, more torture. And here's how this went down. Have a listen to this.
But one thing I want to say, actually, Tim, before you did segue, I just want to make this last point. This pisses me off so much, Brian.
What's causing that feedback?
Well, I don't know, but Brian, you say this. you have a radio show. Like
yes, I do.
Farrah has an OnlyFans. Jessica, you
I don't
have...
spew hatred and bigotry.
Real quick.
Bigotry is good.
I have no idea.
For you, it is.
Like the monitors.
It's fantastic.
Well, whatever. I'm saying all of us up here are on social media. We're all trying to get clicks.
Sure.
Like, so, I mean...
But I'm not spreading hatred and bigotry.
Regardless of how you get it. What I'm saying is regardless of how you...
No way, dude. You were praising Trump earlier. You were waving a Trump flag.
I'm saying we can debate the methodology of it.
True, I do,
but
yeah.
for you to say you're a grifter for wanting to get clicks when...
No.
You
You're not
want
a grifter
clicks.
for wanting to get clicks. You're a
Okay.
grifter for spreading hatred and bigotry and things you do not believe to get clicks.
Yeah, but that's
There's a very big
perspective.
difference.
But a lot of people in the audience would say that you spread hatred and bigotry.
By what?
So
What
that's
do I say?
subjective.
Nope.
So
Here's where you're wrong.
my
Hold on,
point is,
hold on,
all I'm
hold
trying to
on.
argue.
Let me defend
You
myself
made
there.
fun of short people earlier.
Wow.
Let me defend. Have I ever taken an entire group of people, whether they be Trump supporters or anybody? No. You could never find me ever saying an entire group of people are this. Myron is a piece of for doing that.
What do you think about white nationalists?
Hold on. When have I said an entire group? I typically...
Jews. You say the word Jews and then you
Yeah.
define it
I mean,
with an
use-
entire
use-
group of people being a certain way.
Yeah.
You don't even
No,
understand
because
what
you
I'm
literally,
saying.
Here's the thing. There's always nuance to things. So when I say
Oh,
Jews
there's a
control
nuance to
porn,
you being
and
a
of course,
bigot.
and I
Okay,
said,
yeah.
oh, of course the Jews going to promote porn because Jews run the porn industry. Because you literally just backed this. I was like,
There
yeah.
are plenty of
Does that
people
mean
that are not
every
Jewish that-
single-
that
Does that
have-
mean every single
No, every
Jew
single one. All
wants
of
to
them.
go ahead and push porn? No, but I just
Okay.
found it funny
She's
how
Jewish.
a Jew was on stage. He literally says,
you-
what's wrong with porn? It's totally fine. I'm like, yeah, well, he's a Jew. That makes sense now.
Okay.
So
Again,
literally, you
that's
just
an
confirmed the
ignorant
stereotype, and I'm acknowledging that.
Can we,
Ignorant statement.
guys, can we
Nowhere
update the
did I say
marketing?
all Jews do that.
Can the production
okay,
team
sure.
update the marketing to put Jews instead of dating?
So, hey,
Myron, I
yeah,
want
every
you-
single time, dude.
Just make sure you leave early, Myron, because I know you're going to be late for your clan meeting tonight.
No, I got plenty of time.
Yeah, I don't think he's not allowed in the clan. Let's just be real. I mean.
I believe it.
One tonight.
I
Yes.
believe it. Yeah.
Yes.
But you don't generalize at all, though.
I pushed it
okay.
back. I
Yeah.
pushed it
Okay,
back.
buddy. Okay.
Yeah.
So, first of all, Jews do not run the porn industry. That's not true. Are there Jewish people that are in that industry? Of course. But to say that they run the porn industry like these anti-Semitic idiots that say that, Jewish people are running the country, they're running the world. I mean, they're just imbeciles, right? They don't know what they're saying. But Myron says those things because he knows that it'll get clicks. Now, we had to bleep out the swears, obviously, but I called Myron some not so nice things because he deserved it. And at least that's my personal opinion. I absolutely believe he deserved it. And, he has no defense to it. He has just the regular, as you would call, anti-Semitic insults. But, I called Myron out for who he is. And yes, he is a POS. I do believe that's who he is. I think he's a really bad guy. Now, one of the objectives of this show, allegedly, was to talk about dating in the modern age. And then I think the subject came up, which was, would you date a Trumper? I think somebody had asked me that. It was an interesting conversation. But I tried to explain it to these people. And many of them, they're just so set in their ways. They're only going to date people that vote the way they vote. They're only going to date people that do exactly what they do. I'm just not one of those people. Have a listen to this. I'm dating a Trump supporter right now. But here's
your point.
It's only a matter of
How does that work?
Your point about it being
I want to hear this. This is
if she
interesting.
thought that he was the next Messiah and he was a great human being, then it wouldn't work out. She supports him for policy purposes, which is fine, but she also understands that he's a really bad guy personally, and I can deal with that. I can deal with that.
Real quick, this is my point though.
think
You
you're kinda
can be
smart.
of different faiths and have similar.
Wait, real quick,
values.
shut up, Tyler. Your questions suck. Get down. Nobody's gonna watch that clip. Go sit down. No. Oh my wife's Catholic. She dated me because I'm Christian. Nobody gives a shit. It's the same thing, dude. Go sit down, Tyler. Go read your Bible. This is not Bible study. This is not Bible study. Go shave your mustache, okay?
Go ahead,
I
Alex.
mean, how is that even different? Catholic, shut up.
Go ahead, Alex. Continue.
But with all due respect, this is what I'm saying is most Trump supporters are not like MAGA crazy people. I would say most Trump supporters are in the middle. No, I know you didn't say that. So like, so
And
like,
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that the Trump supporter that I wouldn't date as opposed to someone that I could. But again, you have to have that conversation early. Hey, do you think Trump is the next Messiah, or do you?
people don't think that.
Some cultists, the people. Okay, hold on. What would you hold on? What would you call the people who buy the Trump Bibles? What would you call the people that buy the trading cards?
Yeah, but you buy a Metallica T-shirt. Everybody buys merch for everybody. Yes, I bought merch for all kinds of bands.
This is a really great time to announce our Trump trading cards.
Yeah. Buying merch to support somebody doesn't make you 100% a cult.
All I'm saying is there are cultists out there.
Yes, that is true, but that's not the majority.
So you're saying, okay, so you date a Trump supporter right now, and it's if she likes him from a policy perspective,
Is
not
she on
necessarily
OnlyFans?
a personal perspective.
No.
If you're okay with her liking the policy, then I guess you might not hate the policy so much. So what's your real grievance with Trump?
I respect people that have differences of opinions. I don't respect people that believe lies or think the 2020 election was stolen or believe everything that comes out. Oh, we got some cultists here. We got some insurrectionists in the crowd. So I don't understand. I don't think Myron is an extremely very intelligent person because he didn't understand what I was saying. Number two, for the morons out there that were screaming at the stage, nobody thinks like that, Brian. Really? What would you call people who buy Trump Bibles? What would you call people who bought for like $500 or $1,000 a little piece of Donald Trump's jacket that he was wearing when he was indicted? What would you call the people out there that buy the Trump gold sneakers for $600 made in China for $10? What would you call those people who go to these Trump rallies and went to state to state to state in their mobile home, traveling just to hear the president make the same speech over and over and over again? You would call those people cultists. Now, I disagree with the panel, and I disagree with Alex Stein when he said it's only a small percentage. No. I believe a majority, meaning more than 50% of people that voted for Donald Trump are actual, real cultists. And when Donald Trump made the case himself, I can, shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and they would still support me. He's talking about his cultists, his cultist fans. This is not a small percentage of people. I can tell you when I went to the Trump rallies, they were filled with cultists. If you're not willing to admit that Donald Trump is in the Epstein files, you're a cultist. If you're not willing to admit that Donald Trump did not win the 2020 election, then you are a cultist. If you bought the Bibles, and by the way, what a horrible analogy that Alex was trying to make there, because I didn't even catch that when I was doing the show live. He's talking about like if you're a fan of Metallica. We're not talking about idolizing musicians. You can be a cult fan of Metallica. It's one thing to idolize and be a cult fan of a musician. It's another thing to be a cult fan of a politician. I, for one, have been cult fans of musicians and bands when I was growing up. I've never been a cult fan of anybody on the left or the right because it's very different. And that is what I would say to Alex. So that's a really bad defense on his part. And no, I wouldn't date, nor would I want to be good friends with anybody who is a cultist, who is a Donald Trump cultist, period. Now, this is the portion of the show where people came up to ask questions. Unfortunately, I can't play the audio of the person who came up to the microphone who assaulted me after the show because, for whatever reason, his mic wasn't working. So if I played it right now, you wouldn't be able to hear what he was saying. But you could actually see the guy who eventually assaulted me after the show. His name's Chad. I'm not going to give out his last name. But I think I said that he looked like Chris Farley's dead brother. I think that's what I said. Among other things, it didn't go very well for him. But anyway, this is the point of the show where people were asked to come up to the microphone and ask a question. Now, we were talking about marriage early on in the show. And my opinion is, and there's a lot of racists, and obviously Myron's a bigot, and there are people that don't believe in interracial marriage. They don't think that a black man or woman should be married to somebody white. These are what we call bigots. Now, obviously, I disagree, and the point that I made was I think anybody should be able to marry anybody, obviously within the confines of the law. This is how that conversation went down. Have a listen to this.
This is about kids. He's asking about the future of America. What is your opinion on the future of America? Where are you? I can't tell. Give him the mic. What is your opinion about kids in the future of America?
All right. I just want to say, not ask that question.
What?
Everybody up there who says that they don't have an opinion on who should be allowed to marry each other is a liar.
What does that mean? What are you talking about?
Wait, be more clear in your point.
Be more specific.
All right. So Brian, you were just saying you don't care who gets married to who.
That's their decision as long as they're not breaking the law. Why would I care?
Right. Yeah. But we agree that they can't break the law. So there should be a law about who marries who, right?
No. What are you talking about? Why?
Oh, wait, hold on. No animals, though, right?
Yeah, and only one.
Yeah, there are age restraints, right? Yeah, and other than that, what are you talking about?
Yeah, cousin.
Hold on, I got a question for Brian. Should people be allowed to gay marry their cousins?
No, that's called incest.
That is legal in this country.
I don't believe in that.
Bigot.
Yeah, I don't believe that you should be able to marry another member of your family.
Gay marry your cousin. Yeah. It's legal in the United States.
Well, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that.
I think
that's wrong.
Since Obergefell, they've basically been like gay cousin marriage is allowed everywhere.
Well, going back to what this guy said.
I'm trying to understand.
Why are you saying I'm a liar?
Yeah. You're the one who said you don't care who marries who.
I don't, as long as it's within the confines of the law. So what's your point?
That's his point. You can change the law to make things illegal.
Okay, so how do you think we should change the law? Give me an example.
Do you want copy Burr or something?
Yeah.
What's going on, dude?
That's the whole point, is that liberalism is a lie because you do oppose certain kinds of marriage.
So you think I'm okay with you marrying a horse? Like, I don't understand what you're talking about.
No, I mean, stop saying lies.
Well,
like you
this
do
guy
care.
looks like he might want to marry a horse, so I'd be okay with you, sir, marrying a horse.
This is a little-known internet trivia, but Cenk Uygur is
I think I'm making a very to clear things up. I think I'm making a very general term, which is if you're not breaking the laws that are in place right now, for the most part, that I'm pretty comfortable with, I want people to be able to marry other people regardless of sexual orientation, race, religion. I think that's I'm pretty clear on that.
But no cousins.
No cousins.
But that's legal.
Which I don't agree with. I don't agree with that.
So
I'm just trying
should
to
we change the law
like,
to make it illegal?
What parameters? Like this.
I was aware of that law.
Yeah. What's your parameter here?
It's not a law. It's a lack thereof.
Okay.
So should we ban gay cousin marriage?
I think any cousin marriage should be banned.
All cousins.
Relax.
Yes. That's how I feel about that.
I'm still trying to understand this guy's limitation.
Yeah, Myron, I don't understand it either.
What is your like? I'm trying to understand.
Well, I think that if you are up there saying you're okay with everybody marrying or anybody marrying
within
anybody
the confines
else.
of the law, yes.
Well then, all right. So that's not what you said before.
So you thought it would be okay?
What about
I thought it'd be okay to marry your dog.
What about like second
See, Brian,
cousins?
you see what he did? When you said all Jews or whatever. All right, see now you see what it.
Myron, okay, Myron, I apologize. I apologize, Myron.
You've agreed with Myron
I
a lot today. Okay,
me and Myron are gonna grab a beer after. Myron, can I take you?
Thank you. Go sit down, Brian.
Myron, can I take you to a kosher restaurant after the show? No, obviously I was joking there. That was not a sincere apology. It was a ridiculous defense of his bigotry, Myron. Obviously, I was joking when I said, Myron, I'm so sorry. Obviously that wasn't a legit apology, but what a moron that gets up there. He's saying that liberals lie and they're liars because I said I want everybody to be able to marry whoever they want. Now, obviously, when I say whoever they want, it doesn't mean that they can break the law, marry a 12-year-old, or marry a horse. But obviously, the guy who went up to that microphone was not smart enough to understand that. And even Myron was on my side on this one. Everyone was like, dude, what's your point? What is your point? I'm a liar? Obviously, I want people to marry who they want to within the confines of the law. But I'm also... My whole point is let people be who they are and marry who they want. That doesn't mean I think it's okay for someone to marry an animal. Doesn't mean I'm saying it's okay for somebody to marry someone within their family, incest. I think that's grotesque. I think that's disgusting. So that's how I personally feel about that issue. And the guy that went up to the microphone was a complete imbecile. Here's somebody else who's an imbecile who went up to the microphone. It seemed like every single person that wanted to get up to the microphone and ask a question wanted to address me. But that's okay. That's fine. It was more like the Brian Shapiro debate, but here we go.
Yeah, that's fine. Come on down.
So I will say this. One of the biggest problems we have in our society right now is testosterone.
Right.
Yes. Encourage the men in here. If you have not had your testosterone levels checked, you should.
Yeah, Myron.
And the problem is that as women, as men are losing testosterone.
You're literally a circle.
Come on, hold on.
No. Myron, you know I love you, and I support everything you say and do. I'm.
So you believe women are second-class citizens?
Let her finish.
Yeah, my problem is that
absurd.
men are not stepping up. Their testosterone levels are low, like Brian.
All right, come on down. Come on down here real quick. Come up. Come on, no, walk up here. You come on.
No,
Like,
this way.
Listen to the words I'm saying. Walk up here. Gosh, it's like
She said, did she say my testosterone levels were low?
Sit there.
She did. Okay, sure. Well, I'll be happy to tell you that I actually saw a doctor 6 months ago, and I had some blood work done, and they were actually too high. Did you know that bald men have an average?
The fact that you feel like you have to justify yourself tells me you have a testosterone problem.
More testosterone, yeah.
Okay.
Do I have low testosterone because I don't think people like you are second-class
No, because
citizens?
all of us
like
had
this
to
bigot
be
fool over here?
subject to you hitting on Myron this whole
That's
time.
what
It
it
was
is. I'm
really
hitting on it.
uncomfortable
Yeah.
and gay.
It's weird. That's what it is.
Thank you. It's weird.
Boom
Really
roasted.
That's what it is.
We were
Right.
actually harassed by this Jewish leprechaun.
Yeah. That's what it is. I'm hitting on a bigoted fool. Like
But Brian, does that make your
That's
brain?
why I have low testosterone.
Bro, it's literally
point.
the Lucky Charms for
Great
real.
point.
But Brian,
I
can you
have more luck with
comprehend
women
that?
than you do, apparently.
But real quick, Brian, is it really that hard for you to comprehend that she has this opinion as a woman? I mean,
as a woman, to make an assumption about somebody because
It's not an
hold on, let me
assumption.
finish. Let me finish.
Let her answer. Let her answer.
It's not
As
an
a
assumption.
woman, excuse me, you're not a doctor. You have no medical degrees, so be quiet and let me finish.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Now he sounds like Myron.
Maybe this is making you feel like a man.
Finish.
That's okay.
For you to
Anything
hold
you
on,
need
stop.
to feel like a
Be quiet
man.
and let me finish.
You got to say
okay?
men are speaking
Please.
now.
For you to make an assumption about somebody, whether it be anything.
I was talking
can
in
I just
general. You
talk
took
for
it
5
personally.
seconds without
I just said you were being gay.
Okay, I'll be honest. You might have a lot more
That's
testosterone.
no
Myron's like a total
assumption. You
idiot.
were being gay.
I agree. You have a lot of testosterone. But anyway, let me just
let him
make.
finish,
Can I
let him
talk for
finish.
5
Let
seconds
him
without being interrupted
Yes.
by you?
Go
Look like
right
a,
ahead.
By the
sir.
way, what is up with that hair? Forget it. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go there. Anyway, listen.
Oh, here we go.
For you to make an assumption about somebody and their testosterone because you might not like a
Did I say,
political
Brian,
opinion.
you have a testosterone
Yes,
problem?
you said it right over there.
I said
you said I have low
I said
testosterone.
we
now,
have a
that's fine. You can
testosterone
think that if you
problem
like.
in this country.
Oh, you also mentioned my name and you
No,
said
I said you were being gay.
Okay. You said I had low. So what is your definition of being gay?
You were hitting on Myron nonstop.
Okay.
I
So
feel very uncomfortable. Thank you.
Thank you. So let me be very clear on that.
Can you blame him?
I don't have a fetish for bigots or grifters, okay?
That's why you dated MAGA. That's why you dated MAGA girl.
Number two, for you to assert that I am actually defending women and that I think they should be equal to men and they have the intellect to not,
You're
excuse
doing
me,
it
I'm not
out of
done yet,
emotion.
to be in the kitchen like Myron thinks, instead of having a job and having a career and being able to live their life they lives, if you think that women are a second-class citizen, then you're a and I want you deported to Gaza. There you go. By the way, there's some expletives in there. So this is a woman, by the way, I have some good news for PTL fans. She is going to be doing this show. That woman who said I have low testosterone, here's what I would say to her, which I didn't get the opportunity to say. She is a huge Trump supporter with a fairly large following on social media. She supports the guy, and I use that term guy very loosely because she's so concerned about testosterone levels. What would you say about the guy who wakes up in the morning and puts on 8 layers of orange makeup and a girdle? What would you say about the guy who is so insecure that he has nicknames for people that he disagrees with? What would you say about the guy who probably is more insecure than a 12-year-old, who dodged the military multiple times, who's never been in a physical altercation his entire life, who is morbidly obese and can't even swing a golf club? What would you say about somebody like that? Obviously, I'm talking about Donald Trump, who has probably less testosterone in his system than she does, to be completely honest with you. So if you want to talk about people that have low testosterone, I would start with the guy that she supports and probably wears the Donald Trump knee pads for 24/7, Donald J. Trump, the orange orangutan who wears 8 layers of makeup every single morning. That is somebody that has low testosterone, okay? I have never put on makeup in my life. So let me be clear on that. Number 2, the only argument that many of these imbeciles in the crowd has was calling me gay. It's like I was 10 years old again. The last time I had people I argued with that were calling other people gay, I was literally 10 years old. It's like a middle school insult because there's no substance. All she says is, we have a low testosterone issue in this country. So do you mean these Proud Boy members that put on camouflage outfits that never serve this country, that they have testosterone, or the guy that puts on the orange makeup, or these people that were wearing tampons on their ears in salute to Donald Trump? Are they the manly men that you're talking about, or the Jack Posobics or Myron Gaines of the world? These are the people that have all the testosterone? Are you kidding me? Steve Bannon, that fat slob, or Alex Jones? Look at these people on the right. Michael Knowles
By the way, another guy that is probably afraid to come out. But these are the people that you would say that have a lot of testosterone in their body. Again, the people that are making these claims are the people that voted for Donald Trump, the guy who puts on 8 layers of orange makeup every day. So that's enough of that. All right, time to take some phone calls now. Now, I told the Tim Pool supporters and the Tim Pool fans that they have the right to call into this show today, whether you disagree or whatever you think I said in this Timcast show. And I played you excerpts of it. The whole thing is up on Tim's social media everywhere. Now's your chance to call in. You think I have low testosterone? What do you think about Donald Trump's testosterone? We'll talk about anything. The stuff I got into it with Myron. What are your thoughts on that? My Lev Parnas interview that I just did to start the show. So the number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation is 702-221-SAVE. Again, I can't save all of you, by the way. 702-221-7283. Now is the time to call, whether you're a Trump supporter or not. What are your thoughts on the audio that I just played for you? Do you think I held my own or not? I was very happy with my performance. But then again, that doesn't always mean that I'm right? Donald Trump, I'm sure, was very happy with his 13-second performance with Stormy Daniels. So it doesn't mean I'm right. 702-221-7283. Let's start off with Brian. I believe he's calling out of Texas. What's up, Brian?
Hey, Brian. How you doing, man? I just got a couple of things, man. But before I tell you, I think that, you had a really good debate. Myron is, Gaines, he's one of those guys. He's one of those Motisas that I was telling you about some weeks ago. The one Motisa, just trying to, get into the white bastards, the white supremacists. We already know we don't claim him. Whatever. He's an idiot. But here's my two things. Number one, I don't know if you saw this or not, but there was a guy. You remember that kid that was at the inauguration? Or not the inauguration. The
African American. Yeah. Who?
DJ Daniels.
Yes, I do. Yep.
Yeah. His dad, the clown that his dad is, the black MAGA. He thought he was going to have his 15 seconds of fame by accosting a black woman here in Texas while they was at she was going to vote at the voting booth.
I heard about that story.
And he told her she's the Jasmine Crockett type.
Yep.
Listen, I got to get that printed on a shirt because I'm definitely the Jasmine Crockett type.
I don't think there's anything wrong with being the Jasmine Crockett type. And I did hear that story. And unfortunately, that young boy was used as a political pawn.
Yes.
And I feel bad for him because he seems like a really nice kid. And I know he's been through hell. He's had his health issues. And this is what the Republican Party does. They use them as pawns. And it's sick. It's sad, really.
It's funny because that district that he was running in to be a congressman, that's the 18th district down in Houston where Sylvester Turner died and the other lady, both of them had died. And they haven't had representation for, I think, about 9 or 10 months now.
Yeah.
And he didn't even get 1,000 votes.
Doesn't surprise me. Doesn't surprise me one bit. What was your second? You had something else you wanted to discuss. Yep, go ahead.
Also, I'm getting to be like you now. I'm looking at news clips and stuff. I'm trying to be the next Brian Shapiro.
I don't know if you want to be that.
Well, I mean, you're a good guy, man. But no, what I'm saying is, I was looking at a clip. There was the Fox News host, Hannity.
Yeah.
He made the mistake. Sean Hannity made the mistake of having a progressive lady on there. I saw the clip. Mind you, the man has not been president for 10 months now. And they're still asking questions about Joe Biden's mental acuity. He asked her,
yep, that's correct.
When did you first notice Joe Biden's cognitive decline?
Yep.
And her answer was so
I played it yesterday.
I almost had a mind orgasm.
I played it yesterday.
I had a mind orgasm.
I played that. I played that clip on my show yesterday. She did a wonderful job, and she said, "Why are you not covering the Epstein file stuff?" And Hannity didn't know what to say. These MAGA Republicans don't want to talk about this huge Epstein cover-up because that's exactly what it is. They don't want to talk about the fact that inflation has been going up for 5 months straight. The jobs report numbers were abysmal. We're headed towards a recession. The war in Ukraine is still going on. Donald Trump is saying we don't have enough skilled Americans in this country, so let's bring over 600,000 people from China. That's very anti-MAGA. I wouldn't say it's anti-American. It's anti-MAGA. And then he invites some guy who is a former leader of Al-Qaeda into the White House and breaking bread with him. It's everything that, and then these MAGA turds out there will make excuses for Trump because they're sycophants. Oh, they'll say, he's got to stop listening to his advisors. You think Donald Trump has ever listened to his advisors? This is all Donald Trump. The buck stops with him. But these idiot right-wing podcasters and talk shows, oh, well, he's got to get some new people there. He's got to get rid of his advisors. When the hell has Donald Trump listened to anybody but himself? These people are so stupid. They curl themselves into a MAGA pretzel. I'm sick of it, and I appreciate the call, my friend. Thank you so much, and thank you for your kind words. Number to call, 702-221-SAVE. Let's go to Mateo. Mateo is next up on PTL. Hello, Mateo.
Hi, Brian. How's it going?
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, good. I just, I was listening to the show. I mean, I know Myron a little bit from other things. From what I understand, he's like one of those comedian podcasters. He's not really serious from what I gather. He's just kind of a clown. I mean, like you said, he just likes to say incendiary stuff just to get a rise out of people and get clicks. So I think you absolutely held your own. Even like you said, calling people gay. I mean, what is this, middle school? Like you said, I mean, it's just ridiculous.
And can I just add something to what you just said? Two things. And then I want you to continue. Even if he is a comedian, and I think you'll agree with me on this, he has a very large platform. And he's not going up there doing stand-up. He does a show. He talks about serious issues. He does Piers Morgan like I do and other shows. Sadly, he has a very large following. And it's inciting violence by making anti-Semitic slurs about brown people, because then some of his sycophant followers will act upon that. I think Myron is very, very dangerous. I think he incites violence. I agree. I don't think anything he says he actually believes. I told him that to his face, but he's a very dangerous guy. And I also want to be very clear on one thing. People have said, well, Brian, you're being homophobic. Brian, you're attacking him for being gay. No, I'm not. In fact, it's the opposite of that. I'm very pro-LGBTQ community. The reason why I'm calling him out and saying that he needs to come out of the closet is because this is the guy that attacks homosexuals 24/7, and there's clear evidence to show that he's attracted to men himself. And that's why I called him out on that, and that's why he had a hissy fit yesterday on Twitter, and he was responding to what I was saying, because I called him out on the truth. I believe Myron is a closet homosexual, and he's a self-loathing homosexual. I don't believe he believes anything that he truly says. He's a grifter, and he's just like Candace Owens, only worse. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like it comes a lot from insecurity. I mean, for like a bit of my backstory, I mean, like back in 2016, I was like still in high school. I mean, I'm from Canada, so I'm not even relevant in terms of voting, but I used to be a huge Trump guy. I was, I kind of enjoyed like the trolling aspect of it, but I feel like a lot of people, they just, it's just the troll, it's just the meme, it's just to aggravate people and piss people off. But like you said, I mean, eventually you realize like those things, whether or not you actually believe it, they do carry weight with people, and, you just need, essentially stupid people to just take what you say and run with it. So yeah, absolutely. It's just saying that kind of, BS rhetoric. It's not good for, a society as a whole that,
you'll notice,
get together.
And you'll notice it's not a word that I have used ever. I don't think, not even when I was a kid. And it's not a word that I used during the show. There were a lot of homophobic slurs that were used. I didn't use any of those words because I don't believe in using those words. But Myron, and there are other people there that were very comfortable in using those words. And, I will say this. After the show, yes, it did make some news, and it was the biggest trending story on Twitter that somebody did assault me. But when I went out there, and I think I said this to you guys the other day, but I think it's important I say it again. Myron and Alex, we were all backstage, and Alex was like, hey, do you want to go out there? You want to meet the fans, take some pictures and whatever? I said, sure. So I'm signing some MAGA hats, and we're all having a good time. And the best compliment somebody could give me, I expect some of my listeners who were there, by the way, it was nice to meet them, and they were shaking my hand. That was great. But the best compliment somebody could give me is somebody that disagrees with me politically but still respects me. And I had over a dozen people in a span of like 2 or 3 minutes that were shaking my hand, MAGA people. Hey man, I disagree with almost everything you say, but I want you to say I wanted to say I have a lot of respect for you. You got balls. Thanks for coming here and doing this. It was fun. And I said, you know what, man? Thank you. I appreciate that. That's what this country's all about. I think more people should do this. But that's a really good compliment. There were people that were shaking my hand and were saying, thank you for being here. I disagree with you, but I appreciate you being here. And that's the best compliment I could get. I had a lot of those compliments, and everybody out there was very cool after the show, except for one person. I want to be very clear on that. Just because one moron decided to assault me doesn't mean that everybody out there were violent, because they weren't. It was the opposite, actually. Tim Pool's people were great. Even Myron was respectful to me after the show. Everybody was respectful to me after the show. And, you know, like I said, there was only just one person and a lot of people that were very upset at that person who did publicly apologize, which I don't really accept, but because it was half-hearted. But that's how my experience went. And yeah, I do think Myron's a phony. I'm not going to sit here because I'm not a phony. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I think Myron is a good person because I don't think he is. I think Myron is a phony, and I don't think he's a very good human being. I'll be honest. Do I think he is like a criminal? No, but I don't think he's a good person. And I could look you in the eye right now and tell you I see no evidence to believe that Alex Stein is a bad guy. I see no evidence to believe Tim Pool is a bad guy because I'm telling you by the way they treated me before the show, after the show, they were very kind. And I also understand it's a show. Now, I didn't say anything on that show, and I don't say anything on the air that I don't truly believe. I'm not a phony. But sometimes you magnify things a little bit when you're doing a show. It's a form of entertainment. There's no question. For example, if I see somebody on the street wearing a MAGA hat, I'm not going to go up to them and call them a right-wing buffoon. But if a Trump caller calls into the show and he says something very stupid or disrespects me, then I'm probably going to go off on him, you know, and I do that a lot on this show. But there are some people that can't separate the show from real life too. And those people are morons. And I'm specifically talking about that guy who assaulted me. So sorry, I went on a little bit of a rant there.
The fact that you got assaulted, someone assaulting you is just, it's so soft. But yeah, I mean, honestly, Brian, I just discovered your show maybe a few weeks ago. I've been loving it. So I just really wanted to call in. I can't believe I'm talking to you right now. But yeah, it's awesome, man. Keep it up. I have to say, I do love the get the MAGA wax out of your ears. I say that all the time. It's so funny. But yeah, man, wishing you all the best.
Thanks,
and
Thanks,
yeah, keep it up, man.
I appreciate
Take
it.
care.
Thank you for your support. Thank you. It's so funny when I say things on the air, I don't like predetermine what I'm going to say. And like I say, get the MAGA wax out of your ears. Things just pop up on my show, and I just say things. Cheeto Jesus, orange turd. I don't know. I just make things up as I go. So I want to know how you guys think about how I performed, for lack of a better term. I think Myron wants to know how I perform also, but that's another story for another show. But in this live Washington, D.C. debate with mainly it was Myron Gaines. I mean, I saw Tim Pool put it up on his YouTube page today, and he said Myron Gaines versus Brian Shapiro. That's really what it was. Some people could make the argument that I talked a little bit too much, but you know what? That's just my personality. I have a personality like that, a dominant personality. When I do Pierce Morgan, people say I interrupt and I talk too much also. Maybe that's a part of my ADD, or maybe I'm just not going to be bullied. I don't know. Maybe a little bit of both. But I am taking phone calls for anybody out there that wants to chime in. 702-221-SAVE. 702-221-7283. And listen, you could be a MAGA supporter too and call in. That's fine. Let's go to Scott. Scott is next on PTL. What's up, Scott?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Good. What's up?
I didn't know we had so much in common. I'm bisexual, ADHD. I just heard you're gay and you're ADHD.
Where did you hear that?
No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Okay. I was like, what?
I was trying to make you laugh.
That was funny. That was funny.
What I'm tired of is these people, like, as soon as they realize what they did, they expect us or me to forgive them.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I realized I made this big mistake voting for Trump. Eat a penis. Go feel your feelings. Come back, and then I'll meet you halfway. But I'm not one like when Joe Biden reached out and he's like, yeah, come join us and all that, kumbaya. I'm like, the hell with that. So you feel your feelings and eat it, and then I'll help you, once you feel it. I'm not going to instantly forgive you for what you did to this country.
I agree with you. I don't know how to respond when having some sort of argument or debate with somebody when they call you gay. Like,
right.
How do you even have a conversation? First of all, there's nothing wrong with being gay, and they use it in a derogatory fashion. And number two, like, you're dealing with someone that has a very low IQ. Like, I don't even want to talk to people like that.
Right. Well, they want to own the libs and they want to get a response. But then when you respond, they're like, don't do it that way. Like, I'll respond the way I want. You respond how you want. And what they do also is they'll just keep talking. They'll talk over you. They'll keep talking, and then you try to get a word in. Then they'll change the subject. They'll bring in another one. Then they'll keep talking, and then you'll try to get in. And and I'm tired of that.
Well, you know, some people will say that maybe I interrupted too much, but I wasn't going to be bullied.
No, good.
Yeah, I wasn't going.
You did their playbook.
Yeah, I wasn't.
They don't like when
they're not
they don't
used
like
to it
when we throw it back at them.
I agree. So I don't think they're used to somebody like me. I think they get people that lean to the left or total liberals that do their shows, and they don't fight back. I will give it right back to them just as hard, if not harder.
And I love it, and I hope you keep doing it. Screw them and the horse they rode in and everything else. Have a good weekend.
Thank you, my friend. Appreciate the call. Thank you so much.
Love you, bro. Love you.
Thank you. Love you too.
All right.
702 in a very heterosexual way. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Mama Lisa is next up on PTL. Hello, Mama Lisa. What's going on? Hello, Mama Lisa. Are you there?
This is my time because I'm hearing about a Scott on the line. Am I on the line?
Yes, you are, Mama Lisa.
Can you hear me there, Brian?
Loud and clear. Yes, loud and, well, not so clear, but loud. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, can you hear me more clear now, Brian?
That's good. You sound good now. Go right ahead.
Okay, look here. I'm having some confusion on this here Marvin Gaye. Do you think here, because you called him, you say here MAGA, Candace Owens there.
Yeah.
Do you think they self-hate? What's going on there?
Well, you're asking me why I call him the male version of Candace Owens. Is that your question?
Yeah, I'm asking you, do you think they self-hatred?
Yeah. So here's why I think that. And again, this is just my personal opinion based on spending a little bit of time around Myron. He won't make eye contact with you. I'm talking about after the show when the show is over. I think he's a very, very insecure person. And I think when you're a very insecure person, there has to be a reason for that. Maybe not all the time, but I believe something very bad happened to Myron when he was younger. Now, I don't know. I'm speculating. But I believe someone that has that sort of self-pity and somebody that feels the need to attack everybody based on their skin color or their physical attributes, there's obviously something insecure. So I believe when Myron Gaines wakes up in the morning, he does not like what he sees in the mirror. I think he's an extremely insecure person. And by the way, the people that are attacking homosexuality the most are usually people that are in the closet and are homosexual themselves, which, by the way, I feel really sad for them if that's the case. The people that want to, for the most part, attack other people because of their physical attributes. Now, listen, I'll do that with Donald Trump. And the only reason why I do that is because he does that with everybody and he's the president. But I think if you're somebody that constantly attacks somebody on their physical attributes, that usually means that you're not happy with your own physical attributes. So yes, to answer your question, I think some very bad things have happened to Myron Gaines when he was younger that made him who he is today. That's my personal opinion.
Well, I just wondered that because I used to try to watch him back in the day, but I didn't like the way he talked and carried on. So I had to let him go. Yeah. Don't none of us have no authority, or we didn't make our.
Well, he doesn't have any real arguments. He says that women are second-class citizens. He doesn't really make a valid argument among that. There's no evidence to prove that women aren't as smart as men or vice versa. Yeah, if you go to the physical stuff, yeah, as a whole, on average, men are stronger physically than women, but that doesn't mean they're smarter than women. And women absolutely have the right to do whatever they want to do with their lives. And I support that, whatever job you want. Listen, if you want to be a stay-at-home mom, you have that's a full-time job. You have the right to do that also. But women have the right to do what they want to do. And idiots like Myron Gaines want to call women second-class citizens. But as I make the point over and over again, that's why he's single. So it's not like this guy's successful in relationships. It's not like this guy, has the woman of his dreams. My understanding is she broke up with him in his last relationship. So thank you for the call, my dear. I appreciate it. That's the best way I can psychoanalyze Myron fake Gaines. Let's 702-221-SAVE. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's go to Dem Maga, who's next up on PTL. Hello, Dem Maga.
Brian, hey, it's me, the number one caller, 7 years running on PTL, voted number one caller. Anyway.
That joke is very old and it's not funny, but go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'm calling to say, damn it, Brian, you came across completely likable today. I love the way you gave credit to the other guys, and it's really aggravating me because you're coming across completely normal or completely likable.
Well, when do I? So give me an
example. Tell you that.
Okay. Well, thank you for the compliment. When do I come across as not normal? Give me an example.
All the other times.
Well, give me an example.
So,
give me an example. Let's talk about it. Give me an example of like I say something on the air and you're like, oh boy, that's not normal. Like, just give me. I just want to hear from you. Give me like an example. I think that's fair.
An example too is way too much on Kamala Harris. Worst candidate in the last 20 years.
I haven't brought her up. I haven't. Hold on.
DEI hire, and
hold
you
on.
still won't admit it.
I haven't brought her up the entire show. When she was running for
No,
office.
you just said over time.
Okay, so what did I say about? Okay, so does that mean that almost half the country isn't normal that voted for her as well? Is that what you're saying?
Well, they didn't vote because she was a likable candidate or she had a good message.
So you know the minds of every single person that voted for Kamala Harris. So what have I said about Kamala Harris that would lead you to believe that I'm not normal? Because you haven't really been specific. What have I said about Kamala Harris on this show that would lead you to believe that I'm not normal? What did I say? Tell me. Be specific.
Not normal, but one thing would be is the DEI hire part. When Biden says, "I need the best black woman."
So first of all, Kamala never said that. You said my support for Kamala Harris, and I just asked you what I said specifically. Now, Joe Biden didn't say the only reason why she picked Kamala Harris is because she's black. He said that would be one of the criteria, but he did not say that.
No, he said that was same with the Supreme Court. He did the exact same thing.
He didn't say that was the only. Okay, but wait a second. We're getting a little bit off kilter here. What have I said on this show that you would consider not normal? You brought up Kamala Harris, and you couldn't come up with one specific thing I said about her.
Okay, the other thing I say is
you haven't made one valid point yet. Give me an example of something I said that you think is not normal. I'm giving you another opportunity. Go ahead.
Okay, so the border, when you say all brown people are being millions of brown people are being deported,
okay, hold on. We're going to stop you right there. We're going to stop you right there, and we're going to be factually accurate. I never said all brown people were being deported. I said that there are people in this country that are not getting due process, whether they be brown people, white people, whatever. There are people in this country, it's not an opinion, it's a fact, that are not getting due process. Are you mean to tell me that that's not true? You think everybody that's being deported is getting due process? Maybe you're not the normal one. What have I said that would lead you to believe that I'm not normal? What I've said is not. You haven't given me one thing. You haven't been right about one thing yet. Go ahead.
So the due process part isn't really true because the fact is,
yes, it is really true.
Deported 8 million.
Okay, hold on. We're not going to. Okay, so first of all, you're bringing up Barack Obama as a whataboutism, but I will still answer your stupid whataboutism, sir. Okay. Barack Obama did not send people to El Salvador prisons and non-violent criminals to El Salvador-type prisons without due process. So you are wrong about that. Dr. Phil wasn't there with a microphone making a spectacle of it. He also didn't have ICE agents not identifying themselves around the country. You also didn't see agents that are not identifying themselves that were outside of courtrooms tackling people that are non-violent criminals. So we're going to stop you bringing up Barack Obama because there is no comparison. Now, going back to what you said, about due process. It is absolutely, positively a fact. And I will give you an example. Some of the people they sent to El Salvador prisons, they sent there only because they said they didn't like their tattoos. That is not due process. What happens is after you arrest somebody, if they're undocumented, they have their day in court to prove that they are not in a gang and that they are not part of a gang. Many of those people, the majority of them that were sent to those prisons, did not get the opportunity to do so, hence not getting due process. In our Constitution, it says any person has the right to due process. It doesn't say any citizen. So, sir, I would disagree, and I think most people would disagree with your assessment that what I am saying is, quote, not normal. What did I say in that statement that is not normal?
Due process could take years.
It doesn't matter if it takes. It doesn't matter if it takes 100 years. In our Constitution, there is no time limit on it. It says every person deserves the right to due process, not any citizen. So I ask you once again.
They can still.
So I ask you.
May get it.
So I ask.
For instance, if I commit murder, I go to jail. I didn't have
these people have not. These people. Are you seriously comparing a misdemeanor to attempted murder? That makes you an imbecile, sir. I think
if I have a DUI, how about a DUI?
A DUI is not a misdemeanor. You don't even know the difference between a misdemeanor and a felony because you're a doofus. Okay, let me tell you. No. Let me tell you. First of all, if you get pulled over for a DUI, you absolutely go to jail. You have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking.
You get pulled over for a DUI, you go to jail. I didn't have my due process. Why am I in jail?
Because police officers pull you over because they believe you've committed a felony. What the hell is wrong with you? God, you are just
in all cases.
Okay.
And
so first of all,
if you're illegal,
all right, hold on a second. Hold on a second.
You've committed a crime.
Is DUI a felony or a misdemeanor?
I believe there's some cases where it could be a misdemeanor.
Oh my God, you are just so stupid, sir. You are just so dumb.
Okay, maybe not.
Yeah,
Let
maybe
me
not.
ask you this.
You are so dumb, and you're comparing somebody who gets on the road, drives drunk, and puts everybody's lives at risk to a woman who could be in this country for 30 or 40 years, who pays taxes, who's trying to do it the right way, getting tackled outside a courtroom, and some people being sent to El Salvador prisons. You are an imbecile. Now, I've given you no. It's my turn. No, it's my turn now. No, it's my turn now. It's my turn now because I'm educating you.
All right, let me respond.
You don't.
to that.
Of course, you don't know the difference between a misdemeanor and a felony. I wish they sent you to an El Salvador prison because, quite frankly, sir, I don't think you're smart enough to live here. Now, you said that I'm not normal. Don't well me. You said that I'm not normal. You mentioned Kamala Harris. You mentioned Kamala Harris. And you mentioned no background behind it, as me supporting Kamala Harris makes me, quote, not normal. You failed there. And then you brought up Joe Biden, and then we talked about immigration, and you're such an idiot. You're such an idiot. You're such an idiot. You tried to compare and make an analogy to someone who's charged with attempted murder to someone who came in this country illegally years ago that committed a misdemeanor, which makes you a MAGA moron. So why don't you embarrass yourself further?
Illegally 30 years ago. How come you have been? It's taken over 30 years. You still can't get your citizenship in 30 years, and also. Just because
what are you talking? What are you talking? So now you're changing it to. Why does it take so long? I'm so glad you asked that question, sir, being the MAGA imbecile, ill-informed idiot that you are. Let's dissect this a little bit. You think it shouldn't take 30 years. Okay. Why don't you tell me the political party that is making it more difficult and making the process last longer to become a legal citizen? I'm going to give you two choices, sir. Let's see how stupid you really are. Is it the Democrat Party or is it the Republican Party that is making it more difficult for undocumented immigrants to be naturalized? Which party is making it more difficult? You have a 50%. I didn't ask you. I didn't ask you the question. I didn't ask you about a president. I need you to focus, sir. Focus. Let's reset. You just said that you're upset. By the way, I agree with you. I think it takes way too long for somebody to be a naturalized citizen. It's way too long of a process.
Correct.
So I will ask you, we agree on something. So let me ask you this and try this once again. The question isn't specifically about a president. It's about two different parties. Let me ask it a different way so maybe somebody like you maybe can understand. Which party is the party that wants to make it easier, and make it much shorter for people to become naturalized citizens in this country? Which is the party that's trying to make it an easier process? Democrats or Republicans?
By far, the Democrats.
Okay. Thank you. All you have to do is say Democrats. I don't need your explanation. You call into the show. You want to criticize the left. You say, I'm not normal. You sound like the moron that's not normal yourself. You're the MAGA Republican. You're not a Democrat. You're a MAGA Republican. We all know that. And you just self-admitted yourself after complaining that it takes too long for people to become legal citizens. We agree on that. And you just admitted it because you had to, that the Democrat Party is trying to make it easier for people to become naturalized citizens. The Republican Party is trying to make it more difficult and put more constraints on people. And make no mistake about it, because you people always want to bring up Barack Obama. Let me be very clear on this. Barack Obama wasn't making it a charade when millions of people were deported. Barack Obama didn't have Dr. Phil there with a microphone. He didn't have Tom Homan gleefully laughing when families were being separated. Barack Obama didn't have ICE agents all across the country that weren't identifying themselves, tackling grandmothers who have been in this country for decades, trying to do it the right way in front of Home Depot or outside of courtrooms. So don't you dare make a comparison between Barack Obama and Donald Trump. Find me one video where Barack Obama and his ICE agents were deporting women in front of schools, picking up their kids. You couldn't, sir. So there is zero comparison to what Barack Obama did and what Donald Trump is doing now. Oh, yeah, by the way, Barack Obama also wasn't deploying our guards and our troops to cities run by black mayors. So don't you dare make a comparison. Let me tell you something. There is no comparison. But maybe you could help me out with something else, sir.
You're on immigration.
Yeah, sir, you're talking, okay?
5,000?
Sir, nobody can hear you. Nobody can hear you, sir, so calm down. I'd like to ask you a question, okay? Let's try to reset. Is Barack Obama in the Epstein files, sir?
Nobody knows 100%.
Nobody knows 100%. Okay, that's a great answer, sir. No, he's not in the Epstein files. Has Barack to your knowledge, sir, has Barack Obama ever been accused of sexual assault?
No.
He hasn't. Okay. Has Barack Obama ever attacked Gold Star families and POWs and said he didn't respect them because they were captured?
No, but
no.
Why
No, there's no but. There's no but.
being-
No, there's no but. Is Barack Obama ever been an adjudicated liable abuser in a courtroom?
No, but with all that
No. With all that being said, I'm not done yet, sir. Has Barack Obama ever been sued thousands of lawsuits because he didn't want black people living in his buildings? Has Barack Obama ever had that?
What difference does that make?
What difference does it make? I'll tell you what difference it makes, you dumbass, you racist bigot, you. It makes a big difference because Barack Obama is not a racist. And Donald Trump has done all these things, which means you support and you voted for the leader of the free world who is a racist, whose own father was arrested at a Klan rally. Okay? It makes a big difference because you don't care if someone who is a bigot is running the country. You want to see a bunch of brown people. Why don't you just admit it? You want to see a bunch of brown people deported, right? Don't you, sir?
You know why
don't you admit it?
brown people were deported? Because there wasn't millions of white people. If it was a million white
So you
people
want?
coming
So
across
there you go.
it'd
The
be
truth.
same thing.
The truth finally
It would be
comes
the
out.
exact same
The
thing.
truth finally comes out, sir. You don't want brown people in this country. You want it to make America white again. Why don't you just admit it?
That's just who was at the border. That's all. If it was,
By the
if
way,
there was 2 million
that is
people
also
coming from
not
El Salvador
true.
that were white,
That is
it would be
also
the same thing.
that is also not true. In fact, Donald Trump has welcomed those from South Africa that are 100% white who are seeking
was
asylum
50
with open
people.
arms. Okay,
50.
Can you give me an example of 50 people that he welcomed with open arms that were seeking asylum that are black? I'm waiting. Go ahead, sir.
So you're telling me
No. I'm asking you a question. I want you to answer it. You said you're right. I agree with you. It was 50 people, somewhere around there. Can you give me an example of 50 people or even 10 people that Donald Trump welcomed in this country with open arms that are brown people that are seeking asylum? Go.
Oh, I'm sure there was.
Oh, give me an
Just because it
example then.
wasn't on the
Then give me
news.
an example.
Well, you don't have an example either. But
No, you know why I don't
mean,
have an
50
example? You know why I don't have an example, dummy? Because he never did it. That's why. The reason why that was in the
I can't
news.
believe that.
Well, I don't really care what you believe. I really don't care, sir. You've already
You're
proven
telling me
yourself to be a
that's
fool.
newsworthy if you welcomed
Yes,
20 people?
you just said. Now, first of all, it was 50 people, right? We just agreed on that. 50 South
50
Africans.
people,
Yeah, you said that. 100% white. And all I'm simply asking you is if you can give me the same example, to your knowledge, less or more, of people that were brown. Why didn't he do that for brown people? The reason why you can't come up with an example and the reason why I can't come up with one, because he never has. Because Donald Trump is a racist just like you. That's why.
No, I'm sure.
I'm sure.
Right.
Right. And I'm sure you're going to be late to your Klan rally tonight, too. I'm sure. Have a nice day, dumbass. 702-221-7283 is the number to call, by the way, if you do want to be a part of the conversation. The racism is unbelievable with these people. The bigotry is unbelievable with these people. I'm sure he's allowed a bunch of brown people in the country. Oh, really? Well, give me an example, because I can give you an example of 50 white people he allowed in there that were seeking asylum. Brian, I'm sure we can come up with it. Oh, really? What a joke. What an absolute joke. Absolute joke. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. If you want to be a part of the conversation on the YouTube Super Chat, we have those comments that are below. If you'd like to make a question, comment, we'll read them on the air. I am so, and by the way, the number to call if you want to be a part of the show is 702-221-SAVE. 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you would like to be a part of the conversation. Obviously, there's a lot of topics that we are talking about today. We are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to pay some bills. When we come back, the beautiful and talented Nicole Mitchell is going to be joining us, and we'll have plenty more to get to when we come back. We'll take a quick break. Again, that number to call if you want to be a part of the show. We had Lev Parnas on to start the show. I played you some clips from the debate, if you'd like to call it that, with Tim Pool, Myron Gaines, Alex Stein. We played some clips there. We're getting your thoughts on that as well. And we'll take more of your phone calls on the other side. We got to take one more break. Again, that number 702-221-SAVE, 702-221-7283. We'll be back in 90 seconds. You're listening to Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP.
Hey, everybody. Are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premier Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super hero, that is, because why be a sub when you can be a hero? Stallone's Italian Eatery is here to serve you phenomenal food, Vegas. Forget about it.
Who would have thought there'd be so many kids playing ice hockey in the desert? Jake Helb's Hockey Foundation and the Las Vegas Ice Warriors, founded by Gina Yusufzai 8 years ago, made it possible for families who can't afford the equipment and fees. Donate today at www.hockeyforkids.org and help us continue making a difference. Join us in supporting Jake Helb's Hockey Foundation and the Las Vegas Ice Warriors, where every kid gets a shot at the starting line. Just a reminder, our website is www.hockeyforkids.org.
You are way too smart, way too talented, way too good to be where you are. You are meant to be making way more money, feel way hotter in your body, and having way more fun. Hi, I'm Nicole Mitchell, and I'm a life coach. I help you get hotter and richer. If that is what you're looking for, you can find me at NicoleMitchell.com. My name, Nicole, is with a K, NicoleMitchell.com. You can reach out to me on my website or on Instagram, and I will be happy to be in touch and figure out what you're looking for and how I can support you in getting there.
Have you ever dreamed of having your own radio show or a podcast, but just didn't think it was possible? Well, dreams can come true. Radio U. Radio U is a 5-day course that'll teach you how to acquire your dream show. We'll teach you how to host, how to write commercial, how to interview, how to market, how to write a contract, and most importantly, how to monetize your dream radio show. You'll learn from some of the best in the business with over 75 years in broadcast experience. You'll learn from people like me. And the best part, every single student will be live on the radio as part of the class. Plus, one student from each class will get their very own radio show. You'll be live on the air right here in Las Vegas. Radio U. The 5-day course is being offered at $699. For more information, give Radio U a call. 702-763-5024. That's 702-763-5024. Or check them out at RadioYOU101.com.
All right, welcome back. It is Pushing the Limits on a Friday. Man, I got to be honest with you. I need a weekend. I'm a little tired. I need the weekend. But, I have conversations about healthcare with people literally every single day. And if it's not on this show, it's in private life, talking to friends and family. As you know, Medicare annual enrollment is going on now through December 7th. So what does that mean? Well, first of all, I'm very happy to have been partnered up with Chapter. They are an unbiased Medicare place. They all they do is give you free medical advice, Medicare advice, I should say. And the best part about it is it's free, and they save people on average somewhere around $1,100 a year, which is, by the way, phenomenal. The call only lasts about 20 minutes. So the number there on the bottom of your screen, it's completely free. Tell them that I sent you. It's a great opportunity for my listeners. 212-461-4078. You also see the URL right there at the bottom of the page, which is askchapter.org/limits. Nicole Mitchell's here, going to be coming up in a few minutes. We're going to take some more phone calls from all of you, talking a little bit about my appearance on the live studio Tim Pool podcast in DC that I did last week. We also had Lev Parnas, who I thought that was a fun interview. I really always enjoy talking to him. So your thoughts on that? 702-221-SAVE, 702-221-7238. Let's go to Nancy. Nancy is next up on PTL. What's up, Nancy?
Hello. I just find it funny that all of a sudden an investigation needs to take place, because guess what that'll do? That'll freeze the files being able to come in.
Yeah, so that's a good point. I think Donald Trump is going to do anything and everything in his arsenal to make sure that these files are not released. And
yes,
what I find,
that's exactly what they're doing. And it's funny, Glenn Beck and all of them saying, oh, the Democrats wouldn't put the vote to the floor. Mike Johnson and Tim Burchett, they wanted the vote next week to be secret. You do know that, right?
I do.
Yeah.
I do find it.
Now,
I get a lot of people, my dear, who call into this show, and I get people in my private life who say, "How do I argue with a Trump supporter who always talks in regard to the Epstein files and thinks that Donald Trump didn't do anything wrong?" It's very simple. Just ask them, why is Ghislaine Maxwell getting VIP treatment? Why is the Trump administration putting her in a Club Med with a dog and food sent to her cell? Why did they send her to that facility, and why are they treating her like she's a VIP? And you'll get you'll get a deer in headlights. Deer in
I gotta
headlights.
know who Baba is. I just gotta know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, the bottom line here is we all know why the Trump administration is doing this. We all know why they've treated Maxwell in this way. They all know why. We all know why they don't want to talk about Epstein, because Trump doesn't want to talk about Epstein. Why? Because we know that he's all over the Epstein files. That's why. It's the one thing that Elon Musk said in the last couple of years that I actually agree with.
That's right. I've been following this since the Alec Baldwin posted on Twitter the court case against Trump and Epstein in 2016. That Jane Doe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been following it since then, and I think it's happening. It's just, I hope this investigation does not start and we get a vote next week.
I hope so as well. All we can do is hope, right? And I appreciate the call, Nancy. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and I always tell the Trump supporters that come back with MAGA stuff, stop. Sorry, I thought I was talking to somebody that read books.
Yeah, exactly. They want to ban all books anyway, right? Thank you for the call, Nancy. I appreciate it. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's go to Beverly. Hi, Beverly.
Hi.
Hey.
I'm this is Bev from Minnesota, and I just can't take much more here. Hi, Brian.
Yeah, lower your radio if you can, because there's a little bit of a delay there, and I can hear it in the background, and I think that's confusing you a little bit. So
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Yep.
First of all, I'd like to tell your listeners to go look up the definition of normal in Webster, but most of them won't even know what Webster, the dictionary, is. So Google it, because the first thing it will tell you is it's a setting on the washing machine. Secondly, does anybody understand that there's 25 women out there that has accused Donald Trump of rape? That he was convicted of sexually assaulting E. Jean Carroll? Do we need the Epstein files when we've got all the emails? Have these people?
Listen, I hear what you're saying, but you're speaking logic. And here's the problem. I can guarantee you if Donald Trump molested a child on camera, they would still support him or make excuses or say it was AI. So
it just doesn't matter what this man does.
No, it doesn't. I mean, he can continue to do what he's doing and they will love it. So there's a portion of Donald Trump's base, his sicko fans and his cult. Even if the Epstein files are released and he's all over the files, they'll still support him. They have zero credibility.
Absolutely. And as far as this gay thing goes, I'm sorry, sweetie, but every child, if they want to go to conception, women only carry one gene. They are all female before the second trimester. The genetics aren't even decided until the second trimester. And it's been proven, and I hate to do this, but men are handicapped. It's been proven that a man only uses one half of his brain at a time, where the female uses both sides of their brain at a time.
Well, I'm not a scientist and I'm not a doctor. In general terms, all I say is everybody should be treated as equals in this country. And
absolutely.
And that's
and that brings us to the health care.
Yeah. Yep.
I think that everybody should have universal health care, because every human being, regardless of race, creed, color, or religion, deserves that. It shouldn't be for profit.
Well, of course, I agree with you. And I've said this time and time again. I truly believe that there is a cure for cancer. I do believe there's a cure for diabetes. They've tested it on monkeys. And the reason why it's not given to human beings is because there's too much money involved. And that's the way these many of these people are, whether it be those in the pharmaceutical companies and those that have high-end jobs. I believe if we can recreate a human being with beta cells, we can, in our technology, we can recreate a human. Then you're telling me you can't recreate a pancreas? It's absolute insanity. And these companies continue to be enriched. You know, a lot of, I think cancer has probably touched our lives in one way or another. We know somebody in our family or a friend that has lost their battle with cancer. I do believe we have a cure for cancer, but there's just too much money to be made these days. And I think it's really, really sad. And that's just where we're at as a country. And I think that's where we've been as a country for a very long time.
Well, and if Obamacare ends, and I've asked the county about this, because I'm elderly, I'm on a fixed income, I'm forced to pay, the $700 and some a month to have Medicare. What happens then? What's going to happen to the 75 million elderly that depend on that? I mean, I know that the elderly look like a liability to our government, but I'm very afraid, and a lot of my friends are afraid.
Well, you have a right to be afraid, my dear, and I appreciate the call. I'm afraid for you. I'm afraid for myself. I'm afraid for all these Americans in this country on the left and the right that are not going to have access to the health care benefits, those that have already, so many of them that have already lost their food stamps. I'm with you. It's a very sick time that we're in, and while all this is going on, the richest people in this country are getting $100 billion in tax cuts this year. It's an absolute joke. I don't want to depress everybody. And that's why we always do this with Nicole Mitchell every Friday. You've seen her on the Jimmy Kimmel Show. You've seen her on Dr. Phil. She is a former pastor now, model and life coach. And it is always a pleasure to have Nicole Mitchell joining us on the show. It's been a few weeks. Nicole, it's great to see you. Looking great as always. How are you?
It's so good to see you. I'm so glad you're back from all your travels. I'm glad you're in one piece. I saw that you got assaulted, and I care for you so much. So I'm just so glad you're here and you're okay.
Thank you, Nicole. You're a great friend. I wanted to talk to you about this to start. So the panel that I was on over the weekend, they had an OnlyFans model, and forgive me, I'm forgetting her name right now. And they were calling her all sorts of names, and they were slut shaming her, for lack of a better term. And I said to myself, I wish Nicole was here because she would have been able to defend herself. And this young lady had a lot of problems defending herself. So I want to ask you this question. For somebody that would call you those horrible names, which obviously you're not, for somebody that would call you that because you're an OnlyFans model, if a man called you that, how would you respond to that? What would you say to him?
So honestly, I'd be like, and what about it? I'm a slut? Is that an insult?
I love that. I love the fact. I love that.
It's just like, and so what? And it's like, you're just mad I do publicly what you do secretly.
Oh, that would have been the greatest response.
Right? Like, this is the truth.
Yeah.
Like, next time, if they have you back on, you tell them to bring me too, and we'll both.
I've already got the ball rolling there, and I gave his producer your name because you're the perfect person that needs to be up there. And, I'm debating a guy, and you're the perfect person to talk about this. Guy by the name of Myron Gaines, who's a misogynist. He thinks women are second-class citizens. Now, obviously, I call them a misogynist pig and a bigot. And by the way, his girlfriend just broke up with him. I wonder why. What would you say to a man out there, PG-13, obviously, but what would you say to a man out there who thinks women are second-class citizens?
I would say you wouldn't exist if it wasn't for a woman. So step back in line, buddy. Like, it's so cocky to literally come from a woman and be like, I am better than you. And it's like, I brought you into this world. I can snuff you out. Like, it's insane the arrogance you could have to say that to someone who literally gave you life.
I completely agree with you. What else would you say to somebody who calls somebody homophobic slurs when I find that the person who uses homophobic slurs is someone who, in pictures, which I posted on Twitter yesterday, which he probably didn't like, pictures of him coddling naked with another man in a bed, which, by the way, I don't see anything wrong with. Live your life. But this is the same guy who I believe is a self-deprecating homosexual. What would you say to somebody like that?
So I always like to say when someone projects who they are into someone else as an insult, I always like to say, you really shouldn't call yourself those names.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so sorry. Like, I'm trying to, and it makes them so mad because they want you to get mad and you're turning into pity. Yeah. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Those are the names you call yourself when the camera is off.
Yeah.
And the only way to deal with your own homo shame is to try to put this attention off of you onto someone else. Like, you are still lovable. You're allowed to be gay, honey. And we're not going to hate you for it. And they go crazy, but I'm also telling the truth. So I get to piss them off and tell the truth at the same time. And I love that sweet spot.
I love that. So here's what I'm going to do. Okay. You might have to repeat yourself a little bit here. I want you to send a message to all the men that were on that panel that think OnlyFans is the worst thing in the world. And a message to people specifically like Myron, who thinks you're a second-class citizen, who calls you, slut shames you, and I believe is someone who is in the closet himself. I'm going to put this on social media, and you're guaranteed that everyone, Tim Pool, Alex Stein, Myron Gaines, they're all going to see this. So this is Nicole Mitchell, a former pastor. By the way, they didn't even believe it when I said that. They didn't even think women could be pastors because they're ignorant. But this is Nicole Mitchell, the former pastor, now turned OnlyFans model, who's living her best life. She's a good mother. She's a good family person, and she's making a lot of money. Nicole, I want you to send the message to them. Those are the things that they said. What would you say to them?
You're only mad because I do in public what you do in secret. You're only mad because I make money off of the thing you spend money on. You're only mad because you have been outed probably by certain friends and family who know that you secretly subscribe to our accounts, but act like you don't in public. And the only reason I make so much money is because your gender has such a demand for it. You want to slut shame? You need to shame your own gender that they are spending so much money on our business. But until then, I will keep making the money, living my best life. And you're probably mad because I make more money than you.
I love it. I love it. Myron and the guys will see that, and I'm sure they will respond to it.
Let's go.
Yeah. For the record, I was told by one person that I have low testosterone because I don't think women are second-class citizens. I'm like, I don't understand this way of thinking. I don't know how many homophobic slurs I was called to, which is weird. God. I felt like it was like third grade. Like it was very strange.
Totally. And it's so weird how those people immediately go to like fake science. Like, you don't have enough testosterone. That's why it's like, not only are you ignorant and dumb, now you're just like showing how stupid you are, but like trying to cite science and biology that you don't even know. It's embarrassing, really, at the end of the day.
It really is. And they think I'm obsessed with porn because I said I think people should be allowed to watch porn so long as they're of legal age and nobody's breaking the law. They think I'm obsessed with porn because I said prostitution, I believe, should be legal because it would be cleaner for the women. It would be cleaner for the clients. It would be disease-free. There would be testing. There would be security.
And the women wouldn't be the ones being punished. Right. Because we have it criminalized, it's the women who are punished, not the men who are paying going for it. It's insanity. So yeah.
Yeah, and they also claim that I said those things because of my religion, which is really bizarre. I didn't really understand that either. It made no sense to me. I'm not even a religious person, and my religion has nothing to do with my opinions on anything, really.
You're like, that's why I'm Jew-ish.
Right. I'm George Santos. Yeah. I don't know. It just didn't make any sense to me. But anyway, I'm going to put that clip out there, and we're going to see if they respond to it. I mean, I found some pictures of Myron, as I said, cuddling with naked men, and then I put it up there, and I said, I'm very pro LGBT community. You know that. And I said, I'm not attacking you for being gay. I'm attacking you for making fun of people who are gay when you are actually gay yourself. And then he got very upset at that. But, if somebody calls me gay or something, I'm like, okay, you're an idiot. And I just laugh at it because I don't really care. But I think if you're in the closet and somebody calls you that, you get very offended, and it's very easy to trigger them. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sad.
And we just need to call them out on their hypocrisy. Like, I think I told you one time, I had this guy on Twitter a few months ago, like, faith, God, no porn on his Twitter bio. And then he DMs me and asks how much my porn is and where he can buy it. And I'm like, you are all like, literally, I can screenshot out this man. I'm like, they're not even smart about the way they do it. Like, he could at least subscribe to my OnlyFans under an anonymous handle and get my content, but it's his name and his photo asking me for my porn on a profile that says anti-porn. I'm just like, you guys are just like kind of idiotic. It's like, it shocks me, and it shouldn't, but it continues to shock me how unsmart they are on this journey.
The hypocrisy of these people that attack you and attack me, the hypocrisy of people that attack people in your industry are usually the same people who consume more pornography than all of us combined.
You know what's so funny? I'm in the adult industry. I almost never watch porn. It's just like I create content. I'm busy. Like, it's very much a business. Like, I have to think of scheduling and pricing and copywriting and marketing. I'm doing all this stuff. I almost never watch it. So I love that too. They always think all we probably do 24/7 is goon and watch. And I'm like, It's so rare in my life. And you're right. They're the biggest consumers of it.
And we only have like a minute left here, but also a double standard is they were talking about if women are banging a bunch of guys, for lack of a better term, you criticize them for that and they're not as valuable. But yet if a man sleeps with a bunch of women, he's more of a man. I mean, it's such a double standard and it's so stupid.
Yeah, when I was on a big podcast that I didn't know I was walking into an ambush, that's very anti-women. I didn't know that. And they were just smearing me, coming after me, calling me all those names. And then once the podcast ended, the main guy who was coming after me, saying what a disgustable human and woman I am, he's like, I'd hit ya. Like he would have sex with me. And I'm like, you just spent literally 5 hours bashing me in front of the world, only to log off. Like, actually, I would totally do you. And I'm like, you are such a hypocrite.
They're fake. They're fake. They're
fake,
phony. Yes. And what they say, they really mean the opposite. Let's just call it what it is.
Yeah.
Nicole, before I let you go, what do you got going on this weekend?
We are actually celebrating Thanksgiving this weekend because the week of Thanksgiving, I'm going to be in Sweden. So I'm excited for Thanksgiving this weekend. I'm excited for Sweden. And then also always hanging out with my fans on OnlyFans.
I love it. I'm going to send that clip to Tim Pool's producers. I'm going to post that on social media.
Let's go.
I would love to be on a stage with you in front of several hundred people talking to some of these misogynist pigs like Myron Gaines. So let's hopefully make that happen. All right.
Let's do it. I love you, Brian. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're okay. And
thanks, Nicole. I love you too. Have fun in Sweden, but we'll talk before then. Have a great weekend. Okay.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. That's Nicole Mitchell, everybody. I love Nicole. She's the best. And by the way, listen, all due respect to the woman that was on stage with me, that was an OnlyFans model. She just wasn't very good at debating. Sure, she's a nice person. She just didn't do a very good job. Nicole would absolutely destroy it on that stage. And I was thinking about her, and I didn't bring up her name, but I said, I'm close friends with an OnlyFans model and she's doing very well for herself. And she's the former pastor. They didn't even believe it. They thought I was lying. Well, they'll get to see it for themselves one of these days because she is going to get there on a stage with me and we are going to do that together. So that's going to be a lot of fun. All right, everybody, that's a wrap, man. So anybody out there that likes what I do, and I know you're out there, this is an independently owned radio show. What does that mean? We asked for your support. And if you can go on our website, pushingthelimits.live. I have a new handle, by the way, on X, which is the Brian Shapiro. They actually screwed it up on the Tim Pool show today. I had to correct them and say, hey, you got to change my handle. It's the Brian Shapiro, the one and only Brian Shapiro, not to be confused with Ben Shapiro, the little weasel, Ben Shapiro. Check it out, pushingthelimits.live. Donate $5, $10, $20 a month. Listen, whatever you can afford, we greatly appreciate it. It's very simple. Just click a button, make a donation. pushingthelimits.live. I'm going to have a very fun weekend this weekend. I am looking forward to taking a little rest and relaxation. We'll see you guys on Monday, same time, same place. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Hey, everybody.